everything that you might have wanted from a Spider-Man animated thing that you kind of feel like you've missed from recent Spider-Man projects, Sony and Marvel. It's like, oh, here we go. It's just everything. We're just gonna just drop this little hint here, this hint here. Oh, here's this character that some of you may know who this is gonna be.
Steve is what America should be and what the ideals would make you think it is trying to be. It is truth above all else. It is justice above all else. It is trying your best above all else. No corruption, no kind of compromise. It will do the right thing. The Thing design is perfect. If you disagree, you are objectively wrong.
Yes.
It's simple. They even got the brim of his
That's the thing. I was like, all the comments I see where people are going, if you think this is bad design for the Thing, this is straight out of the comic, and they'll put like a comic panel next to it.
Yeah, he has never looked so good. Hello and welcome back to Cutscene Convos. This is episode 148 and we have got a lot to discuss this week. It's a very marvellous week.
It is.
We have got a character profile on Doctor Strange. We have got more episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man to go over. We have got the preview for Captain America Brave New World. We have finally got a Fantastic Four trailer.
Yes.
And as always, we have the Nerd News Network. But for all that good stuff, Horizontal, how's your week been?
How's my week been? What has happened since last? I finally finished my portfolio website and launched that, which
looks really good.
A lot of people have sent me messages and said it looks great. I think I've done a good job with it. So I mean, I'm happy with it compared to like one I threw together like at the end of last year. This is a lot more like how I'd originally visualized how I wanted it.
Yeah.
So yeah, super happy with that. So big thing ticked off and done to get in the first month, which starting the year strong there. And then
looks really good.
Thank you. Other than that, kind of just been, I was still doing the gym. Oh, we got a new dishwasher because I was broke.
Such a rogue thing.
Such a rogue thing, but like me and my dad had to fit that. So
no, see, this is the thing that don't get me wrong, it's not happened to us yet while we've been living here, thank fuck, because the kitchen's been redone not long before we moved in. But that is such an adult thing, isn't it? It's like when you're young, you don't ever think about a dishwasher, and dishwashers do last a really long time.
Well, this
like,
one,
I think in the
13 years, I think.
Yeah, in the 25 years I lived with my parents at my parents' home, we changed dishwasher once, and that must be 15 plus years ago now.
And and when you think about it, at least our dishwasher is at minimum on once a day, and it's it's funny. It's like,
you don't think about it until it just stops working.
From like as soon as you become an adult, and like obviously you've got your own place, and my sister and her brother-in-law, they're obviously in their new home that I helped decorate, and he's like listing off the fridge freezer within the first month of them moving in started playing up. Thankfully, they had their old one from their last house in the garage, so they're all right. The boiler's messing up. And like the radiators aren't quite right. Then we've decorated, and he's like, "This is just a never-ending list." And I just reminded, I was like, "Yeah, but you said you're not moving anywhere after this house." So he's like, "It's not the point. It's a lot of money." But yeah, that was a rogue thing. But yeah, it's other than that, DIY jobs in our own home, and then hitting the gym and Marvel Rivals. We're all still on the Marvel Rivals.
Deep on the Marvel Rivals. I need all the boys to get together so we can do these 6-man videos I have planned.
Yes, we had a taster, didn't we, the other week?
Yeah. I literally sat down earlier and I worked out the amount of videos I have that are like between 10 to 50% complete for like script written versus ideation and what I'm going to do. And I have like 7 to 8. None of them are like close to finished, but I'm like, at any given moment, I could sit down and get this done. Chaos.
How's your week been?
Yeah, my week has been how's my week been? Yeah, not too bad. Family were around on Saturday because the parents are selling up, but because we have a dog, just having people come to visit isn't as easy. So they organise like an open house.
Got you, yep.
And then everyone vacates the parents' house for a couple of hours while people snoop around. So they came here, which was nice. It was nice to catch up with everyone. Then it was back to work, busy. And then coming up the rest of this week, I've got dog sitting, house sitting. Parents have gone away for my dad's birthday to go see a Run Rig cover band in Scotland.
Interesting.
Yeah. Everyone has their things. They've seen them a bunch of times. They really enjoyed them as a cover band. They also do enjoy Run Rig. They've not just like chosen a random cover band. So yeah, while they're away doing that, I'll be chilling, looking after the doggo. Super Bowl on Sunday, which I'm very excited for.
Yes,
Therefore,
it is.
I'm off on Monday.
Nice.
So that'll be good. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty chill. Starting to, and I mean very gently, starting to build up for the 10K that me and Jenna are doing in a few months. Just trying to like. I used to be, and like I know you've never known me while this has been the case. I used to be so fit.
Well, yeah, you've shown pictures.
Yeah, like you've never known me as a particularly slim individual. I used to be unironically a fucking athlete. And now I'm like, right, I need to like actually get back to some semblance of fitness. So we're doing that for charity. There'll be more information on that probably next week. But start to put that together, and for the first time in my life, I can honestly say, despite the fact I was a legitimate athlete for a decent while there, I actually, for the first time ever, experienced endorphins while exercising. I was on our treadmill we got the other day, and I was walking. After 20 minutes, I was like, "This is so shit. Why have I agreed to do this? I'm just plodding along."
I mean,
wasn't
you're
like
the treadmill.
particularly. Yeah, I was like, I wasn't particularly struggling, but I was like, "This is just shit." And then about 5 minutes later, I got like a little bit of a boost. I'm like, there's the endorphins everyone promises. I'm like, right, let's crack on. And then I can get myself in a loop of competing with myself because I am the most competitive person I know, and I must beat myself.
That's literally me with doing weightlifting.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Because I'm making a lot more of an effort with this like go around at the gym of doing progressive overload, which is where like when you're hitting 10 to 12 reps, if you hit that, I do 3 sets. So if I hit that on all 3 sets, okay, next week I need to up weight.
Yeah.
So it's like hitting that thing and you up weight, and then it's like what the week you then hit it the 10 to 12 again, I'm like, nice, let's go up again. So it's like legs I've been smashing through. They always were my strongest, and I just like I've done 3 weeks of like leg days now, and I'm just like every week I'm like smashing up the goals, and it just it feels good.
This is the thing. For a long time, any exercise I did was related to sport.
Mm.
So I didn't get the endorphins from the actual physical exercise. It was I've been better than someone. Like I've gone out there and I have bested someone.
Yeah.
So that's where it always came from. That's where the drive always came from. But it was nice to actually get that. And after I got that, I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. I ended up doing another like 35 minutes on it at a decent fucking pace. So I just need to get to that point where like then as you know, building a routine is everything with the way our brains work. So if I can just build a fucking solid routine, it'll be light work. And then the idea is I'll get in better shape, I'll lose a bit of weight for this, and then hopefully I can just keep that momentum going and stay in good shape.
It's easier once you get going. And like you say, routine is everything. Because there's definitely days now where I'm like, I can't go out to the gym tonight, but I force myself to go. And by the time you're there, it's like, okay, I'll get on with it.
It's the thing, it's putting yourself in that position where you can't not do it so much that your brain's like, it's easier to just do it at this point than not do it. And that's the recipe for success. But yeah, so that's where I'm at this week. It's actually not been a bad week at all. It's been busy, but we're cracking on, we're getting by. Shall we get into our character profile for the week?
Yes, let's do it.
Ironically, this was initially written as oh my god, I can't believe I've not done this character yet.
Yeah.
Then it was oh my god, Marvel Rivals is here, and this character's a big part of that. And now they're also in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So just pick a reason that they are like SEO friendly, because they should be. I'm joking. We just do it for the love of the game. We don't care about SEO. So our character profile this week is on Doctor Strange. Let's get straight into it. Stephen Vincent Strange, MD, first appeared in Strange Tales number 110 in April 1963. A gifted but egotistical neurosurgeon, Doctor Strange lost everything after a terrible crash left him with significant nerve damage in his hands, and when he squandered his wealth trying anything and everything to return to the operating theatre, he was left with nothing. Once he was finally broke and out of any and all conventional and unconventional medical procedures, he sold anything he had left to buy a ticket to the east, in search of a village called Komataj in Tibet. Stephen hoped to meet the Ancient One, in hopes they'd be able to cure him. Instead, he was offered the opportunity to learn the mystic arts directly from the Ancient One. Strange initially turned this down, but then, first-hand seeing what the Ancient One was capable of, he accepted his proposal. Strange then spent many years studying the mystic arts underneath the Ancient One's tutelage. Towards the end of his studies, Strange bested death itself and was rewarded with near immortality, just like how the Ancient One had 600 years previously. Upon returning to New York, Strange established a base of operations out of the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York. With the help of Wong, Strange saved the Earth from many things from the shadows. Despite his efforts to remain secretive, he did become known to the authorities, and as a result built a relationship upon helping them should anything of the mystical nature. Alongside the debut of the Fantastic Four, Strange decided to try his best to do what he could to continue to work silently from the shadows. In his early years, however, he did team up with superheroes like Spider-Man and Thor, and on occasion, he would even work with the Avengers. He built many long-term relationships, most notably with Spider-Man. As he developed as a hero and could no longer completely work from the shadows, he collaborated more with other heroes, working on many different teams and organisations. Most notably, the Illuminati, Avengers, the Midnight Suns, and then founding the Strange Academy. While he still has the ego of a surgeon, Strange has been able to redevelop his care for others and make less of what he does about purely winning and more about protecting and helping people. Undoubtedly, Doctor Strange does what he does as he craves the feeling of power and control, thinking himself one of the few who can be trusted with the balance of life and death. Fortunately, he's on the side of the heroes, but should that moral compass ever drift, the world would have an incredibly powerful and dangerous enemy. I think Doctor Strange is one of the most interesting and compelling heroes because he is a complete tool. And it's not even like in a Tony Stark way, where Tony Stark's like this rich, flamboyant dude who's like just thinks he's God and does what he wants. I think Doctor Strange is even worse than that, because becoming a Sorcerer Supreme and developing in that way, he has learnt more compassion.
Yeah.
But then he hasn't addressed them character flaws.
He's still got a big ego that now is actually backed up because he is Sorcerer Supreme.
Exactly. He's like papered over the cracks. He's like, he's an egotistical neurosurgeon who as a result ruined his own life by driving and crashing his car by being reckless. So then he learnt a bit of humility through desperation, studied the mystic arts and has become very important there, and it's just kind of reinforced that idea that he's special.
Yeah.
He is better than he was when he was a surgeon, but you never truly lose an ego that large.
Well, no, and we've seen it in the amazing What If series of what happens when Sorcerer Supreme kind of gets a bigger ego and kind of runs with it.
It's exactly that. And I would say, I've been critical in one of our TikToks that went a little bit too busy and people got quite angry with me when we did our hot takes. That the MCU butchered Tony Stark's personality and made him too likable, and they don't get me wrong, they sanitized all of the characters a little bit because they had to be more marketable. I think one of the characters who suffered the least from the sanitization was Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he was still portrayed as like an
They
egotistical
made it very
doctor.
clear before his accident in his first film that he had a massive ego.
Yeah.
And although they did show like him developing a bit more sense for others, come Infinity War and Endgame, and even Multiverse of Madness, you see that that ego is still there, driving his decisions.
Yeah.
Despite ultimately doing what is right, he tries at first to do it a quick and dirty way to protect his ego.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it even in No Way Home, when like because of
Yeah.
his ego, he's trying to do the spell for Spider-Man, and it gets too far ahead of him, and then he fucks everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite interesting. But Doctor Strange is definitely a very cool character. That has a big part to play in like Marvel continuity
Yeah.
via the mainline kind of Avengers and working from the shadows as the Illuminati, the more mystical stuff in the Midnight Suns, and then the Strange Academy, which is another rumored project coming from Marvel as a TV series. It's always interesting to see how the character develops. And I think Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job.
Yeah.
But there we have it. That's our character profile on Doctor Strange. We've got a couple more Marvel rival ones that I've already got baked up.
Which Marvel rival characters next?
But then I think I'm going to cover some of the characters from the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series.
Ooh.
Because there's some characters there that they're using in slightly different ways.
Well,
but I'm
giving
loving.
us plenty as well.
Exactly.
Speaking of
which, yeah.
We got
Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think I want to get your opinion on this as well. How often in the last 5 months have we been pleasantly surprised?
Probably
like when you actually deep it.
Agatha all along.
Agatha, Cross.
Yeah,
I expected Cross to be good. I didn't expect it to be that good. Rings of Power Season 2 was a pleasant surprise in a couple of places. This has been a massively pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like last week when we had the first 2 episodes, I was like, oh, we were both like, this is a lot of fun. This is okay. This is good. Our worries are kind of there's little things, but like for the most part, we were right to think this was going to be pretty solid. I feel these next 3 episodes just somehow I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. This show's great.
And I have theories. I have so many. I have more theories than brain cells. This show is giving me so much.
They're setting up so many things.
Yes.
Like, obviously, we know there's multiple seasons planned for the show.
Yeah.
So it's like
season 3 is already greenlit. That's how deep this show's running.
But like they've started season 1 just being like, oh, we know we're gonna be here for a while. We're just gonna set shit up now. We're just gonna give everything that you might have wanted from a Spider-Man animated thing that you kind of feel like you've missed from recent Spider-Man projects, Sony and Marvel. It's like, oh, here we go. Here's just everything. We're just gonna drop this little hint here, this hint here. Oh, here's this character that some of you may know who this is gonna be.
I'm loving it.
So
I'm gonna get the order of the episodes confused slightly because shit happens.
I mean, the rough order is obviously him doing that first mission with Osborn in the chair.
We had the Speedo dude and
the Speed dude and Knife
Blade Lady. I don't recognise them.
The second, I was going to ask if there were any like significant.
I don't recognise them, but I might be missing something. Okay. It's very possible.
The second, so that was episode 3. Episode 4 is like him testing all the different suits.
Yeah, which was a very, very fun episode.
Yeah, and then the episode 5 is the unicorn and him in his new Spider-Man suit.
Yes, got ya. With Harry, and then of course Lonnie's story is developing as the B plot.
Throughout those.
I am loving this decision, by the way, to make Lonnie like a straight up main character.
Yeah.
Not just he was friends with someone who ends up being a very big villain. It was very much no, this is Lonnie and Peter's story because they're both essentially going through the exact same thing. They're going through a massive change in their life that was out of their control that's taking them down a path that they've done everything they can to like not be thrusted into.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it now. Coleman Domingo as Norman Osborn
Mm.
is an inspired casting decision.
It's great. There was a couple of points like when he's discussing about the suit ideas and stuff and pushing ideas on Peter that I'm like, I feel like Green Goblin is in there.
So this is what I was gonna say. I think it's in the episode 3 when he says something. He's like, "We should work together, Peter," and it sounds so friendly. And then like that, he's like down flexion or whatever adds a bit of goblin to it.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's weird because I have known for my entire life, it feels like, that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
He is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. But I'm still sat here going, maybe this time it's different. He seems like a good dude.
See, I'm like sat here and I'm like, this is weird, him being nice to Peter. This doesn't feel right. And then like those moments where his voice, I'm like, that's the Green Goblin. Even though I have no indication that that's like even a thing yet for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
I'm loving it.
Which I do think that at the moment he isn't he is being genuine. I think the start of this like now path towards Green Goblin, a bit more control. I think he wants to be involved and he's like this kind of obsession with helping Peter with his tech and being like in control of it. I think him now having his son, who's clearly going to be who Peter starts going to more, that he then gets pushed out.
I think the way they're going to play it is Norman is clearly obsessed with helping at the moment. I think he's going to want to help, and then helping from the sidelines is not going to be enough. So he's going to try and develop a way to be strong like Peter.
Yeah,
and that's not going to work.
Field.
Exactly. The same idea. I'm pretty sure, again, I might be slightly off here. I'm pretty sure that the Goblin procedure in traditional continuity is like an extension of the Weapon X program, which is an extension of trying to recreate Captain America.
Yeah. It's like a serum thing.
And when you consider that in the hallway to Norman's office, he's got a picture of Captain America. Yeah. And also with T'Chaka.
Yeah.
Or who I assume is T'Chaka. And Harry's obsessed with Captain America.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very much that kind of vein of he wants to be Captain America, but he's a flawed person inherently with a little bit of greed and a little bit of like narcissism, and like he feels like he has to be the person to do it, and that's what the serum is going to twist.
Yeah.
Now, my major theory to go with the show, which I want your opinion on.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff they're discussing happened in the MCU. The way they're discussing it, happened basically identically.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it more later, but of course we've got the Fantastic Four film, which we know is set in a different universe.
We got the mention of Reed Richards.
We know that at the end of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, there was discussions of incursions. And I think that the rumours that this was going to be a prequel to Tom Holland are still true. I think they're going to use the Fantastic Four incursions and a soft reboot of the universe to make this show the MCU Spider-Man's actual origin.
Oh, you think
this is them setting up another part of the soft reboot? Oh, you know, I've been a believer that soft reboot's coming with Secret Invasion. I think they're going to go, by the way, now that we're in this new universe, it's still Tom Holland's Peter Parker, but he's now in a universe, and in this universe, this is what happened to Peter Parker.
I can see where your brain's going. Like, this at the moment doesn't seem tied to our world, but like down the line they go, oh yeah, by the way, that show that we started like 4 years ago was actually us already setting up the soft. Like I could see them doing that.
Because here's my thing. If they decided that it's no longer going to be part of Tom Holland's origin story, why have so many events that are so similar to the MCU? Unless it is to go, his past has changed a little bit, but not so much that if you just watch the films, you'll even know a difference.
Okay, I have like a slight counterpoint to why they would maybe do this. And it not being like tied in any way. It could be as simple as they are doing this stuff with Civil War that is so closely matched so that MCU fans feel like they understand this world better.
Maybe. I think that's a
help pull
misstep
the
if
viewers
that is
in.
what it is, though.
In the thought process of like, maybe they were worried about getting MCU fans on board. If we do stuff that is similar, people go, oh, okay, I have an understanding of this world and where it's at because I know what
Maybe.
Civil War is, and I can kind of like feel like, oh, this is where this world's at, but there's a few extra people around.
I guess I'm kind of hoping they've realised that MCU synergy is not a good thing.
Yeah.
So if they're going to make something so similar to the MCU, it should be for a reason. Maybe it's copium, but I think I think maybe because it leans so nicely into my idea of the soft reboot. Because right now the big question is, Spider-Man without Green Goblin is crazy.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you have Green Goblin with Tom Holland without Tom Holland Spider-Man? It's going to go, right, well, that's Norman Osborn, who doesn't even seem to exist in this universe as it currently exists.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to try and use this. And maybe Tom Holland only remembers the old universe, but he's now in a universe where this is what happened to him. Maybe they use that as an excuse to bring May back to life.
Yeah, it could do.
And then imagine, right? Secret Invasion ends. The next film after that is, say, Spider-Man 5 or Spider-Man 4, depending on what comes out when. But we'll say Spider-Man 5. Brand new slate, we know nothing of what's going on. He wakes up in a different apartment. And he's like, and the alarm goes off. It's someone going, you're late for work, what the fuck? He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, can you send me the address? And he's just trying to crack on whatever the fuck he's doing, isn't though?
Yeah.
And he grabs his ID, he doesn't even notice. He runs out the door and he turns up to a big building, make it Avengers Tower. He goes up and then he realizes when he gets to the floor he's supposed to be at, everyone goes, morning, Mr. Parker, blah, blah, blah. Clearly important, clearly known. He goes up to the floor that people tell him he should be on, and someone goes, Peter, so glad to see you. And he realizes it's Norman Osborn. Imagine that fucking gut punch. And Coleman Domingo keeps the role because he's phenomenal. I'm sold. But like, I just think this is a really cool way to do what they initially said they wanted this cartoon to be.
Yeah.
But still subvert expectations.
I'm definitely would want your idea to be. I'm just like, Kevin plans a lot, but has he planned it that well with them is the question. Which he might have done. Like he's cooked with a lot of things in the past with like hidden details, but yeah,
like, that's my big blow it out of the water kind of, this is what this means. But aside from that, I know we were skeptical-ish about this animation style, and the first two episodes were like, oh, we kind of like it. I'm fully in on this animation style. I think people who hate it just don't like it because they dislike the animation style, and that's fine. But I don't think it's a bad animation style.
Everything else about the show is great. I'm still advocating for more of like the panel cuts.
We did get more of it in these few episodes.
I like them. I just want more.
They're really good. I like that they're using it for conversations where people are in different locations.
Yes.
Very good visual design.
I'm really enjoying. We've talked about. And we liked it about Creature Commandos of like them just dropping things of like this shit's going on in the world. Like the world is lived in, and like having things like Doc Ock obviously gets revealed, and him mentioning I should be up there with the great minds of Reed Richards,
Yeah, Stark, Banner,
Stark and Banner.
Osborn.
Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, so you're just like naming everyone. We're okay, they're
Mhm.
all there. Like, we knew most of them were, but like that Civil War's going on. Obviously, like the discussion around, oh, well, Cap did because it's his friend. So, oh, that's obviously Bucky.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Showing us this world's, but like also the fun stuff of like, Peter's not there and part of it. So, like, the idea that he just gets signed up like Norman Osborn takes, he's like, oh, I'll take care of it. Obviously, just filling in the form or whatever. Here's the superhero that I work for, and here's his details that you need. Just filing the
Yeah.
government form.
Well, yeah, I'm loving it. I'm really curious where it's going to go. They did a proper Dr. Otto Octavius design. I fuck with it so
straight,
unbelievably hard.
straight
And I think
away.
this is feeding into my desire for this to be like made canon, because then I'm
Because
like,
everything's more
well,
comic booky.
you've got to make Dr. Otto Octavius look goofy with a white lab coat and a green suit.
It
I
like
want it.
straight away. I was like, oh, here's Doc Ock. Now, is his assistant of any importance, or is it just?
I don't know. I didn't catch his name at any point. I don't know if he's important or just someone there to show
He's like,
how narcissistic Otto is.
yeah, I get you. Someone to bounce
What?
off.
So the four people in that
Oh,
episode.
well, first point, the van driver.
Yes, it's not Rhino.
It's, well, okay, so that was one question. I couldn't remember Rhino. I know we've watched Craven fairly recently. Yeah. I'm terrible at remembering names. One, I couldn't remember if it was Rhino's name. He looks very Rhino-esque.
He's very big and bulky, and he's got a very Russian name. I understand why you thought it might be Rhino. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could decide to change the name of Rhino, but
well, yeah,
that doesn't seem like the kind of thing this show would be.
The first thing I noticed when he spoke in the van, I was like, that's Travis Willingham. I'm pretty sure.
Was it?
And then every time he spoke, I'm like, okay, I'm 99% sure this is Travis Willingham. As soon as the credits were, I paused them. Travis Willingham. I was like, I just know the voice. I was like, this is Grog with a Russian accent.
Actor he is. No matter how good his voice acting is, you can still spot him.
Well, you get to know certain things.
So
but
I think they are the Frightful Four.
Okay, because here's the other thing I was going to ask. Because Dimitri was one of the ones. I was like, is that not Craven's brother, Dimitri? But I couldn't. They never said his last name, so I'm like, I'm just going off the fact of Russian Dimitri, and that other guy I thought kind of might be Rhino.
Is the professor Oscorp Bentley Whitman, or is his last name Bentley?
What, the old man?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Because I might be losing my mind here.
Old man scientist.
So they're definitely not the Frightful Four, but that was the vibe I was getting from them. Maybe some of them have been members at some point, but
it's Bentley Whitman.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the wizard, who is a member of the Frightful Four, ironically.
Oh.
So I thought the black hair, thinner Russian dude was the wizard. Apparently that's not correct. Apparently there's a different character we've been introduced to. And this is what I mean by they are just jam-packing it with everyone is fucking important.
Yeah, this is where, like, I mean, maybe they've tweaked the names and maybe they will be the Rhino and that, but my instinct from how he looked, I was like, this feels like Rhino.
He's definitely a big boy.
And then obviously the other guy was Dimitri, and I'm like, I swear, isn't Craven's brother called Dimitri?
Yeah.
Which obviously I'm like, Russian guy called Dimitri, Rhino. I was like, oh, maybe this is Craven's brother. Like, it would fit. The other two, obviously, I didn't know, and then one of them was Unicorn.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing. I don't particularly recognize the characters, but I'm loving this idea that Spider-Man keeps getting thrown up against common thugs with insane hardware.
Yes.
Because of Otto. It's brilliant. Yes. It's such a Spider-Man story.
And it's sets up a nice story arc of this, like trying to figure out who is giving this tech, and then obviously Otto funding himself so he can get into like obviously a laboratory.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see where the show goes. I'm loving it. The relationship developing between Nico and, or I guess not developing, kind of unraveling between Nico and Pete.
Yeah.
To kind of, there's an old adage amongst comic book writers. It's like Spider-Man fans aren't happy unless Peter Parker is suffering.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's what this show is building us up for. Right now, everything's kind of hunky dory. He's got more friends than ever. He's got support. Nothing's going wrong. He's struggling to balance everything, but everything's largely okay.
Yeah.
And I think it might be the end of this season because we know that another season's half done and there's a third one coming, where he like finds out that Lonnie's become
I was gonna say, I
Tombstone.
think it's because obviously like the end of episode 5, episode 5, Lonnie gets his Tombstone mantle.
Yeah.
Also, there's a guy called Bulldozer. I don't know if that's a character.
He might be part of the Wrecking Crew. I don't know what their individual character names are though.
And Big Donovan, I feel like, is obviously some.
Yeah, he's a gangster. That he's a very much a ground level gangster, the likes of like Luke Cage and stuff.
I had a feeling because obviously
they're in Harlem.
Yeah, they're in Harlem. I was like, this feels like someone Luke Cage would go against. Obviously, they're fighting Scorpion.
Yeah. Mac. Yeah. You mean to tell me that you knew the Scorpion was called Mac Gargan, and that's how you worked it out, not the Scorpion gang?
It's the Scorpion gang, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, that we've got Lizard Doctor, who's now female.
Yeah. Carla Connors.
Obviously, with them being there, it's like, oh, isn't that who then causes Scorpion? Or is Scorpion robotic? I forget.
I can't remember. I think Scorpion is similar to Rhino, kind of put in a big suit by the mob that he can't
they
come
could
out of.
Maybe do that with Doc Ock in this.
Yeah, I imagine the idea is going to be he gets the suit from Doc Ock.
Yeah.
And then after fighting Spider-Man, it breaks and won't be able to come off.
But yeah, so I mean, though, like this is the thing. Like, there's so many villains being set up for future use. It's getting very interesting.
This is not, I repeat, not me trying to speedrun Peter's story.
Okay.
The way they've built this universe already, I would like this show to last 20 seasons, so that we can naturally get to Miles and get to see the villains, the way they interact differently. So, like, from the comics, Rhino and Scorpion fucking hate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Both Rhino and Scorpion don't dislike Miles. They have actively worked with him on occasion.
Fair.
And have on numerous occasions said, I like you so much more than the other guy. Like, they've actively come out and said that, like, you're much nicer than the other dude. You're chill as fuck. And it'd be nice if like this goes on long enough.
Yeah, so we get
juxtaposition. Because I actually really enjoy that the villains they have overlap with have different opinions on both of them. Like that's Vulture, cool. For instance, hates Miles a lot more than he hates Peter because Miles is dating his granddaughter.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair.
Like there's levels to this, and it's brilliant. But the way the characters are developing are brilliant. Lonnie is gonna break my heart.
Well, yeah, I'm predicting the next episode because he got stabbed in the arm. That's clearly going to affect his ability to play football.
And what I'm predicting is Pearl is going to realise something's up. I mean, she already kind of has. Yeah. She's going to ask Peter to try and help him. Peter's going to half-arse it because he doesn't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah.
Then the season finale is going to happen and he's going to try and stop Lonnie committing a crime. He's going to realise how bad it's got. Maybe Lonnie has an accident which gives him like his powers. And then season 2 allows Peter to just feel desperate and hopeless because he fucked up and hurt Lonnie, who was a good guy, and now he's a hardened criminal, pardon the pun, because Tombstone is hardened. But like, you get the idea.
I'm wondering, because of Doc Ock and all these villains going, like all these thugs going to him for tech, the idea that if Scorpion goes to him for the tech, and then Lonnie obviously can't get Peter's help, feels backed into a corner, so turns to Doc as well to get something so he can stop Scorpion from doing something, which is then him getting hardened, and then obviously that's when Peter realizes, oh, I'm too late, I fucked up here. There's that dynamic is going to be, I think, the main direction that this season's going with them two. Something we haven't talked about, all the different suit designs.
Yes.
I don't know if like how many of these are based off anything in comics.
The Hornet one is based off a villain known as the Hornet.
Right.
So that's just straight up taken. I think the one with the robes was based on an event one that I'm not too familiar with. The one with the cape and stuff.
Yeah, that look like Thor.
I don't recognise too many of the other ones. They will absolutely be callbacks to something, though, just based on the way this show is operating. Yeah. I'm pretty confident with that.
Like the one where it was like the flying spider with the black scary suit. I loved how they sold that as scary with the way that it like shot into the tree, scraped, and then it hands the balloon.
And they've already set up them fixing his current suit to be blue and red.
Yeah, like this is temporary. Because I know that. Go on.
I know the complaint about it, and I agree with it.
Yeah,
the trope of heroes having to earn their iconic look does suck ass. But at least it kind of makes sense in this world.
Yeah, I think my only thing with it, because I know obviously before this show had come out and we'd seen this teaser of the suit, you'd said, like,
yeah,
it would have been nice
very much
for the
future foundation.
Yes, it is. It's basically is, and it's like you said, they could come up with a whole new design, or there's so many others they could pull from that would have been okay. I'm even like, if you really liked how like it looked as a white suit, rather than the dark blue / black that obviously makes it look like
red.
Oh, go green for Oscorp.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I'm not keen on the green. I want more of the red and blue back, like he has said. Obviously, it's
give him a Green Goblin colorway just for the thematic of this was given to you by Norman Osborn and it's green and purple. Yeah. Like, there's thematic choices that could be made. I completely agree. My only other request from this show, and once again we've got loads of series. I will patiently wait for it. I need the Fantastic Four in this universe, and I need them now because we have never, in a meaningful way, been able to have the Johnny Storm Peter Parker bromance, and I would love it in this show so much.
I mean, I feel like they're setting up for some of the bigger heroes to show up, because like the bit when they're Unicorn and Rhino are in the street, he says, doesn't he? He's like, we need to get out of here because if we wait any longer, Iron Man's. So I feel like they're sort of setting up for some hero, whether that is Johnny, Mr. Fantastic.
Daredevil appears in one of the episodes that are coming up.
Could, maybe it's that then. Just Daredevil comes out. I mean,
but yeah, I'm very excited. Maybe he gets asked to help Captain America.
Maybe he gets to see him at the office and he has like a fangirl moment.
It's definitely going to be interesting, but this show it's must watch.
Something we didn't mention, obviously, Harry is like a social media influencer. One of the posts...
that was Luna Snow.
I was like, oh, that's Luna Snow. Who, before Marvel Rivals, I would have not noticed.
Yeah, the hair gave it away for you, be honest.
Yeah, and a nice snowflake on there. Yeah. Also, Thingy Chen at the other intern, who you said was part of their little K-pop.
Amadeus Cho. So there is a lot of the agents of Atlas in this show. You've got
his presentation with the music and the flashing lights. I was like, oh, it's because he's part of the little K-pop group.
The ones that I've noticed so far, bearing in mind I'm not very good with the Agents of Atlas because they're much newer. We've got Wave, which is Pearl.
Right.
No, she was on the swim team and she's dominating on
Yes.
record. She's literally like Queen of Atlantis.
Mhm.
Amadeus Cho and Luna Snow all have been seen on screen, which is very, very cool. I'm excited. I kind of want this show, kind of don't want this show to spawn a universe of cartoons in this style.
Okay, so here's a question for you. We love X-Men 97.
No, keep that separate. It's tonally so different.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, do you tie these universes together? They're different art styles, can be different, told differently, but
so here's my thing. X-Men 97 and the original X-Men cartoon that it follows on from did a crossover with the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
right. So I guess it kind of is already tied to that.
And as weird as it sounds, because the original X-Men cartoon was made for kids, it was at a time where kids were allowed, although they would pretend they weren't, to actually have more mature themes, not adult or explicit themes, more mature themes in children's shows.
Well, Simpsons.
And as a result, X-Men 97 is, to use a word that's been misconstrued, very woke. It's very holding up a mirror to society, going, do you see do you get it?
Yeah.
And I think that Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is not that way inclined, not in the sense of it's anti-woke or that it doesn't allow people of different sexualities, genders, whatever to exist, or that it's trying to prove a point, but more so it's trying to let you understand the core concept of the character. Like, this show is a character dissection of Spider-Man and really getting you to, like, I don't think we've had a bit of Spider-Man media that tries to make it so easy to understand Spider-Man's core fundamentals as much as this show. And that's what I mean by I want this to spawn a whole bunch of cartoons that does the characters this faithfully, so that any time someone tries to talk to me about a cartoon, the way a character behaves, I'm like, that show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, your Fantastic Four, your Iron Man, your Captain America, I'm like, that is them. That is what they should be portrayed like. That is them to a T.
I'd kind of want them to do a Captain America one because of the whether we discuss it later, I don't know, but the Anthony Mackie stuff that obviously happened and people misrepresented what he said. But like,
it's this thing where I love the MCU. I love that it has brought these characters to more people, and I love that more people have got to take joy in these characters. As we discussed, I might have been this segment, it might have been before, I can't remember. The MCU, in a lot of ways, has sanitized a lot of characters to make them less controversial.
Yes.
And as a result, people fundamentally misunderstand these characters. Nothing, and I'm talking like small scale stuff in the grand scheme of the world, nothing pisses me off more than someone saying with full chest something that is fucking wrong.
The thing, it's like, I can understand MCU watchers not quite having the right understanding of like Captain America. Because if you think about it in the grand scheme of like reference material, the scope of what the MCU has shown them versus like what comic book readers have got to read across several comics, and like that ability just to flesh out Cap so much more. Like, yeah, you can. It's like you say, it's the saying it with chest that no, this isn't true, and the comic book fans going, you do not know what you are talking about. But
it's like the same shit we had with X-Men 97, where people were claiming they made the X-Men woke.
Yes.
I shit you not, I don't care what canon says, because you've got to remember a lot of the X-Men were created and written at the time where the comic guidelines meant you literally couldn't make a character gay. As a default, unless explicitly told otherwise, every mutant is bisexual by default. Unless I'm told otherwise, they are bisexual as a minimum. because they are literally an allegory for minorities.
Yeah.
Like the notion that you can misconstrue the X-Men that bad is infuriating. And I know, like, the big thing the right wing are doing now is they're claiming that media literacy is like the new woke, if that makes sense. Like, oh, if people don't agree with you, you just claim they're media illiterate. And it's like, no, you're just media illiterate, which is why you don't get the fucking point.
Yeah. But I mean, to like bring this back, I think having more shows like this that span off from this universe.
Adaptations, yeah. Just make it look like a comic book. Make them, even for better or worse, even if like a version of the character in other media has been more well-rounded, just go, this is what they are actually like in the comics.
Do you know what I think they should do? Because this world's fleshed out, use this medium to bring back characters like Iron Fist, who had a rough time in in Netflix's show, but could be done a lot more. Like the characters that maybe might not necessarily get to be in the MCU bigger picture, or it's a bit harder to bring them in. You could very easily bring them into like a show with Luke Cage and Iron Fist and all that, based out of Holland, and tie it into this very easily.
The only thing I think we've missed out on this show, which they did consider doing, is initially they were going to have Jessica Jones be in it as one of Peter's classmates. And they decided not to do it. And that upsets me because I have mentioned it before, but I doubt you'll remember. It is canon that she was one of his classmates. And then when they meet up later in life and she's already married to Luke Cage, she admits that she had a massive crush on him in high school. And I think it'd be hilarious to have Jessica Jones be a recurring character who's clearly just got mad googly eyes for Peter, but Peter is always rushing off to do something and just thinks she's really friendly.
I mean, they could do that with his current friend she's sort of, I can't tell if she's
gay. She's gay.
Well, is she bi?
No, I think she's gay.
Okay. Well,
I think
my thought was I'm not sure if they're making out she's bi, or if it's just she's
sure she ain't straight. We know that.
Oh, no, yeah,
she's like, I will go and ask Pearl out if you don't. I think the reason they made her explicitly say she was going to hit on a girl so quickly
is to cut that
was to cut out instantly any idea that their relationship was romantic. And I think it's really, really important in media that we have more platonic female-male friendships.
Like the Bear showed that.
Exactly. One of my favourites all time is Penelope Garcia and Derek Morgan in Criminal Minds. They are flirty as anything to each other, but it is strictly platonic in the best way possible. And I'm like, yeah, that is an archetype of character we need more of. And them two being like awkward teenagers who have that kind of banter that could be seen as flirty or like, oh, maybe they like each other. I like the idea of that existing, while explicitly being that they would never ever be together. But it would be interesting to see how that progresses though if she is bisexual. I think it'd be funnier if she fell in love with Harry, if that was the case, though.
That's also something I was like, she's already following him, which I loved when Peter called her out on that. She's like, well, I'm doing it ironically.
Yeah,
you keep telling yourself that.
We've all been there as a teenager. We've all been there.
I do think it would be funny if she like is getting annoyed at herself because she's starting to like him.
Be good.
And then has to deal with that.
But I think Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is one of the biggest recommendations I can make at the minute. Like,
I mean,
if you claim to love superhero media and you're not watching this, you might be a fake fan.
Like, it is good to see, like, after MCU's rocky period, we've had X-Men 97 and now this. And, like, these are the ignoring What If. Like, this has been, like, their two newest, like, dives into doing animated properly, like a long-running animated show. Like, they are nailing it. And if they can keep this going... I
can see why they took their foot off the gas with What If Season 3, because if they knew they were cooking this in X-Men 97... I'd be like, no one gives a fuck about that anyway, just whatever. Like, I get it. I don't think it's acceptable, but I kind of get it a bit more.
Yeah, it helps if they drop that now, out of the way quickly, and then people just
Yeah.
think of these two shows. But like so
Do you know
far,
what
they
if
are
over
killing it with
Christmas when no
animation.
one's paying attention? Then in January, February, we'll hit with Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. I cannot wait for more episodes. I just wish they hadn't done dumps of episodes. 2-episode pilot and 1 a week. You know my feelings on this.
Yeah. I mean, because they're short, I'd be okay with 2.
Yeah, I just want to extend it as long as possible. Give it
Yeah,
as
I
much time as
get that.
possible to get out there.
I get
And
that.
the longer it's out there for,
Do you know,
the more buzz it will build.
actually, and this is like controversial for streaming sites to do 2 episodes a week, but don't do them on the same day.
Oh, like a Tuesday, Thursday type beat.
Yeah, or like a midweek and a Saturday. Give us back
Yeah.
a Saturday morning cartoon.
Imagine if they fucking time locked it so it unlocked at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning for people.
But like
On the streaming service, preview it live. So you can watch it live at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Wasn't it Disney Plus has trialed a Marvel or a Star Wars channel that's meant to be like constant running of stuff?
Working on it. I don't think it's out yet, but I do think there was discussions of them launching channels on the streaming service that would just loop that content.
Because they could do that and then have, this time is new episode, and then obviously extra time it's just filler repeats.
Mate, catch me waking up at 8:30 on a Saturday, and even though I don't eat cereal anymore, getting a bowl of cereal to watch the Spider-Man cartoon, we will be there.
Imagine.
That'd be phenomenal. Captain America Brave New World. It comes out in just over a week, under a week as you're listening to this.
Yes.
There is
the first hit, like, we are back moment of MCU films.
But this is kicking off the superhero year, which looks to be one of the strongest we've had on paper. I've got many feelings about this film. It's very interesting. I think the big thing for me is I don't know what to expect. And normally that would worry me with Marvel. But the last 3 or 4 times I've not known what to expect, I've been pleasantly surprised.
Fair. I think I'm optimistic, mainly because everything we've kind of seen since this vocal of we've switched gears, we know things haven't been great, we're making an effort, and then we've had Agatha, obviously the animated shows, everything's feeling like, okay, this seems like they've turned the right page. The trailer for this and the vibe for this we know is very Winter Soldier-esque, which we both love, which also fills me with confidence. We're getting Red Hulk finally, after people have kind of asked for that for years.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that this is gonna be good, and it's gonna be that first thing that the first film in a while that people that kind of written off the MCU, like the casual fans that got into it because of Infinity War and all the hype and everything, and then afterwards they very quickly gave up on it because it missed the mark a couple of times. I think they'll be the ones that after this will go, oh, is MCU back to making good films again?
I'm in a rough spot with Marvel at the minute. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the stuff they're putting out. But I am finding myself increasingly asking the question, to what end? Because I am so convinced that the soft reboot is coming. That a lot of the stuff that they're selling as connectivity, I'm struggling to care about.
I get you.
So, like, the big revelation in this is that Tiamat sticking out the earth is adamantium.
Yep.
In my head, I'm like, cool. The mutants don't exist on this earth. We're not getting them until after Secret Invasion, by which point it's going to be made so that they always existed. So why do I give a fuck that that's adamantium? This is what I'm struggling to reconcile. It's not hurting my enjoyment of the films, But I feel like, and I never know how to say stuff like this without sounding big-headed, but I feel like they are saying stuff like that in the marketing material
Hmm.
so that people like me who care about what adamantium is are supposed to go, ooh, X-Men type stuff. And
I
I'm just here like, that's not going to matter. So why should I care right now? Why can't I just have a Captain America story?
I think it's the opposite because, like you're saying, you are pretty certain there's a soft reboot coming because you can see the things, you know what Secret War is, like you know what events are going to be happening off the titles of these films, so you have a pretty good idea that okay, we're going into a soft reboot. The comic book fans probably also know that because they're like you, they know what comes in the comics, they know what is probably coming. I think them saying, "Oh, this is adamantium," this is kind of the focus of the film, is they're fighting over it, is for the casual watchers that know Wolverine, that grew up on the original X-Men, like, "Oh, adamantium's the metal Wolverine's made out of. Oh, that's that thing from Eternals that was kind of forgotten about. We've always asked what the fuck happened to that giant fucking thing sticking out of the ground. Oh, they actually have a reason for it now." I think they're tying up a loose end there. They're throwing adamantium because they know the casual fan knows what that metal is because of Wolverine. Whether they're going to actually use it for anything or not, probably not. Like you say, they're going to hit a soft reboot. I think they're actually more trying to use it to get the casual fans
To
to
come
care,
back. Maybe.
because then they think, oh, Wolverine's metal, Wolverine, the mutants are coming, not knowing that the mutants are coming after soft reboot.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I think I'm kind of stuck in a point where I'm bored of. Is bored the right word? I can't think of a better word. I'm still bored. Bored of this idea that everything is the end of the world, and I
Fair.
want character-driven stories. So when I like I said, when I'm like convinced that we're not getting the mutants until the soft reboot, and this is Sam Wilson's first outing in a film as Captain America, I'm like, why is so much of the marketing material focused on adamantium, Eternals? And I'm just like, show me what Sam's doing. Show me what. And don't get me wrong, I do think we are going to get a decent amount of that because Winter Soldier was a very character focused film. But I just, and again, mate, I guess at the end of the day, the marketing for these films isn't for me because I'm the person who's buying the ticket anyway.
Yeah.
So the marketing people, when they decide what goes in what, are going to be going, right. The people who might buy a ticket but currently don't know, what do we need to show them to get them to buy a ticket? I do get that, but it kind of makes the marketing for a lot of this stuff pointless for me because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be there anyway. Show me something that actually makes me excited.
I think the difficult thing is because I think there's something else they're also trying to combat is there was a period where everyone was calling them out on their trailers and stuff of being, oh, you've just revealed the whole film. Like, we know what's happening, which is almost like kind of what they're trying to combat here, where they're not really giving us, like you say, we don't know what Sam's going to be up to. Like, we don't really get an indication of what his character is going to go through in this film, other than it involves Red Hulk. The US is currently dealing with this adamantium thing, so that's going to be part of it.
Yeah.
And he's
Serpent
obviously
Spidey's
fighting this
cutting
idea
down.
of the new mantle of being the new Cap,
Yeah.
which I think, unfortunately, it's tough because it's like, you're right, they're not going to market to you because they're pretty convinced you're going to go anyway. They need to get the people back that have given up on the MCU, which is with these like very clear, oh, here's, like you say, here's adamantium, like, come on back.
Yeah. I don't. It's a weird spot. I've not been in this spot with Marvel before, so it's just kind of weird trying to pass out my feelings about it. And unfortunately, the big bit of news around the film at the minute is what Anthony Mackie said not a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
on the press tour, which basically boiled down to Captain America has nothing to do with America, and people fucking hated that.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. People
And
who don't understand the character were like, what do you mean he's got nothing to do with America? He has America in his name. So that means he's everything to do with America. And people obviously called them out and were like, no, Captain America represents what America should be. And the whole issue is most of the time America is never what it's meant to be.
So I think I can't remember if we were doing the podcast when I made this analogy, or if I even said it to you or someone else. In my head, the way in the MCU I've always viewed Steve, Bucky, and Sam is Steve is what America should be and what the ideals would make you think it is trying to be. It is truth above all else. It is justice above all else. It is trying your best above all else. No corruption, no kind of compromise. It will do the right thing.
Yeah.
Bucky is what is closer to what America actually is. Deeply flawed, trying its best, but the corruption of powerful people has had a lasting impact. And then Sam is the next generation trying their best to live up to the ideals of Steve.
Yeah.
Without the enhancements of the super soldier serum. Or like just being like a concept in like that's how I've always used the allegory of them three.
Yeah.
Which is why when there was the debate when Sam got given the shield over Bucky, everyone was like, well, surely it should be Bucky. I was like, no, because Bucky is what America actually is, not the ideals of America. And this is the thing, that Anthony Mackie is completely fucking right. Shock horror, the person who's read the fucking comics and worked on the scripts and been in this industry for years, understands Captain America as a concept better than knuckle-dragging fucking morons wearing a red cap with 4 letters on them.
Who read the word America in the name of the character and they're like, oh, well, everything... all he means is the stars and stripes.
Exactly. The ideal Captain America fights the US government at every fucking turn if it is not doing the morally correct thing.
Well, just look at Civil War.
Yes, exactly. Like, let me be completely clear and we'll get a bit accidentally real political. Captain America would fucking do anything it took to get Donald Trump out of power.
Yes.
The notion
losing
that
his
Captain
shit.
America, the notion that Captain America would accept a convicted rapist as the most important person in America is fucking ridiculous. And if you genuinely think that of the character, you have fundamentally misunderstood the character. Captain America was created by 2 Jewish immigrants fleeing Nazi Germany. Do you really think Captain America has any notion whatsoever of standing up for a fucking fascist? Get a grip.
Do you know what I think? The people with the red caps that go, oh, but Captain America is all about America because it's in his name. Do you know who they visualize? It's Homelander.
Yes. Yeah.
And he is the meme parody of Captain America. But in their heads, that's what they think Captain America is.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Captain America was the true reflection of what they would want a Captain America to be, it would also be Homelander. But the boys stopped being subtle and started being a ton of bricks, and then the right wing got angry at them because they didn't understand they were the butt of the joke the entire time. You can't win. But the bottom line is Anthony Mackie was fucking right, and if you think he was wrong, you have room temperature IQ on a good day.
I did enjoy the comic fans and even like MCU fans that have learned more about like the fandom being like, no, you're all fucking idiots. Like, just look at any of these like comic people throwing comic panels at them, anybody like people just being like, go watch Civil War. Like, I did enjoy the stand up against that and like not needing Anthony Mackie to come out and be like clarify or anything.
Yeah, it's craziness. But I am excited for the film. I'm curious to see what we get. I'm very excited for Sam Wilson's full debut as Captain America. I think the character deserves it. I think Anthony Mackie deserves it. I am ever more enamored with Harrison Ford. Every time that man does anything, I love him. I loved him as Han Solo as a child. I loved him as Indiana Jones as a child. As I got older and realised the distaste he had for Star Wars, pardon me, I loved him even more. And watching him go through the motions of dealing with another massive universe is fucking hilarious.
Have you, someone asked him a question, probably on a red carpet somewhere recently, and it was like, did you speak to Mark Ruffalo for some Hulk advice? And he was like, no, he wasn't available, so I just kind of winged it. Hopefully I've done him proud.
Yeah. I love Harrison Ford. I saw another one from a Comic-Con panel or something, an event panel. And someone who was clearly very nervous. So shout out to them for like being able to brave it and ask the question, because it would be intimidating. He said, a question for Mr. Ford, which would intimidate the fuck out of me in all fairness. He was like, is it your plan to reboot every universe you've been a part of? Star Wars, Blade Runner, everything. He was like, abso-fucking-lutely. At this point, I would be dumbfounded to find something about Harrison Ford I dislike. He's such a Chad. He's a brilliant actor who cares about doing a good job, but past that, he doesn't give a fuck, and that is how people should be about their job. Turn up, do the best job you can, but once you're not working, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
It's a man after my own heart in that regard. But I am very excited. Obviously, film comes out on Valentine's Day over here. So me and Jenna will be finishing work, going for a Nando's, and then going to watch the film. And that'll be on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, same.
Corey in his left hand will be going for dinner.
Yeah, I'm leaving my right hand at home.
Next up, my personality for the next 5 months.
The longest build-up for a teaser trailer I think MCU has ever done.
You know how I said I think the Superman and Fantastic Four trailers and stuff might heal the world? I still believe it's possible. I know the world is looking quite bleak at the minute.
I don't know if the trailers will heal the world. The films
might. I have so many emotions.
I obviously didn't. I was busy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was so I couldn't watch the countdown and like watch the live reveal. Obviously saw your thing, and I was like, oh, seeing your comments of like, can this just hurry up? I want the trailer now. I was like, oh, they must have dragged this out for some reason. There is also, you might have come across them on TikTok. There's another nerdy podcast of, one of them goes by the Hat Guy and always has hot takes.
Yeah, I'm aware of them.
Yeah,
I've seen some of his takes.
I think their podcast is great. They're very successful.
Their podcast is great. They are great at farming a clip. He does have. I don't know if they're deliberately diabolical takes or not, but
so
Christ alive,
from some of the extended cuts, his takes often aren't actually that bad. They just cut the hot ones because they know they get clicks. There was a thing I saw of the two of them watching, obviously, that trailer reaction live. Their TikTok was them crashing out about the build up to this trailer, where obviously it glitched and showed there was another hour on the countdown.
When that happened, I literally went, I was like, oh, am I dumb? Can I not read? So I went back in the stream 30 seconds and saw the hour appear. I'm like, you motherfucker!
Do you know what? I know what happened there. That is a video. Like, if you think in OBS, if you have a video and it auto plays, they've got it.
That's what it was?
They've got it ticked to loop, and then literally the countdown video hit 0 and just went.
No, but it didn't even hit 0. It did it at 5 minutes left.
Maybe, do you know what? Whatever. That is a video that will just be and someone has hit that back to the beginning by accident, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, they would crash about that, and then obviously there's that like weird little like interview of kind of stall time thing that I just skipped through because I was like, I don't need to watch this. I will say the whole marketing and theming around this reveal of like this whole build-up being in Fantastic Vision, and them
actually being at NASA or wherever the fuck they were.
Yeah, the Space Center, and like having all the actual like NASA rockets and stuff, and like the theming and marketing so big brain. Like it was great. But then we get the trailer, which
I have so many things to talk about. First, the Thing design is perfect. If you disagree, you are objectively wrong. It's
yes.
simple. They even got the brim of his fucking eyebrow.
That's the thing. I was like, all the comments I see where people are going, if you think this is bad design for the Thing, this is straight out of the comic, and they'll put like a comic panel next to it.
Yeah, he has never looked so good. And like I really do like the 2004 Fantastic Four Thing design. He's a bit smaller than I would like, but it's not a bad design. This design is objectively gorgeous.
Oh, I think it looks great. And like there's a little bit of polish that the visual of the rocks, like that you is like all things. The trailers never actually sometimes got the final polish. Like you can just tweak the CGI to look that bit more realistic in like its visual.
It looks
but also
fine.
it's fine. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible at all.
It's a man made of rock. It's not going to look
this
real.
This is the
part of your brain's always going to be going.
Well, in that teaser, you don't see enough of it to get your brain used to it. You'd have to, like, I'm sure we've both watched the trailer multiple times.
Yeah,
we're fine with it. But like when you're watching the film, you'll probably get used to it so quickly. I really like that his voice is normal.
Yes,
because I've seen that as a point of contention. Yeah.
So I am in the band of the Thing is this big monstrous looking guy, but he is the heart and soul, and he is the compassionate center of the four, which is, I mean, that's just like Art 101, right? You make the person look the most different from them, and that becomes like their thing. The idea that Ben got to keep his voice is very important because that's how you humanize him.
Yeah.
He is still Ben. He just looks different.
That adds to the whole
you
thing
close
of
your eyes
like,
and it's the same person.
It's just his visual has changed.
Exactly.
I loved his little moment where he went full bear mode. And with Herbie.
I need, and here's the thing. It doesn't need to happen because like Ebon Moss-Baccarat is a great actor who doesn't need a reference to the bear in his massive, huge film. However, him getting ready to cook family dinner with Herbie, looking at him going, let it rip, would make me sob like a baby. Like, it's that.
Just, even if it's just like, his thing is he likes beef sandwiches. Like, it was just the way that like he tastes it and then he's like clapping it, and the fucking, this is the other thing, the creative in me noticed so many fucking things in this trailer, like the attention to fucking detail, like him clapping his hands, you can hear it's like rocks slapping together.
Yeah.
And then I loved the whole thing of like, I'm just gonna add a bit of garlic. It's not because I hate what you've done with it. I was like, this feels like I'm watching The Bear. Obviously, I sent you that TikTok. Great. Herbie looks great. Yeah, I love Herbie's design with the like tape deck eyes.
The Baxter building is gorgeous.
Yes. I mean, the visual for everything.
Yeah. So one of the big things that I spotted was when they're on the stage together. With the four behind them and the bits coming up on the side.
Oh yeah.
That is a massive homage to the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Like that stage design is basically identical.
That's cool.
And of course, it's the Fantastic Four. They were the Fabulous Four, both dawned in the 60s. There's always been a little bit of a, I don't even know what the right word is. There's always been a little bit of back and forth between the Fantastic Four and the Beatles. Like there's always been kind of acknowledgements that they're very similar because in the early days of the Fantastic Four comics, when they tried to make the Fantastic Four like famous as superheroes, they were inspired by like Beatlemania.
Yeah, and how they were viewed and stuff.
Yeah, so like that's always been there, and it's nice to see in a retro futuristic world, which is gorgeous by the way. Them keeping that idea of Beatlemania around the Fantastic Four.
Well, and them being like celebrities, like you saw it with the kids have the Thing masks and like a little Thing toy, which I love the fact that he is like what the kids love. I mean, we got obviously see Johnny flame on.
Yeah.
That the creatives that I follow all spotted this. The director, fucking the cinematography is when he flames on,
The
it
lens flare.
interacts with the lens, showing dirt and grime, and they've
so
nailed
good.
that visual effect perfectly.
It's so good.
That and Invisible Woman doing her shield and
the
the way it does
refraction.
the chromatic aberration and stuff. Oh, that I straight away was like, oh my god, this looks so fucking good.
It looks beautiful. The big question is obviously going to be Reed's powers, because making stretchy powers look good in live action is not easy. I'm cautiously optimistic, as I am with everything, but I want this film to be good. So there is always the danger that I'm overlooking something, but this trailer feels exactly what I wanted it to feel. We got a good look at everyone. They look great. The costumes are phenomenal.
The
Galactus is big and
not
imposing.
a cloud.
He's not a cloud. He's a big boy.
So I did see something. Someone made the point of, because there is only one Galactus, right, in all the multiverses.
Can't remember.
I think this is what people were saying is there is only one Galactus, and he travels across the multiverse. So there is only ever one of them. It is just the one. Technically, the Cloud Galactus is also this Galactus. He just chose to be a cloud in that universe.
Okay, so there are multiple Galactuses, but they could all travel the multiverse.
Okay.
Is what I'm seem to be getting here.
I don't know.
So they're both Galactus, but they could be different ones.
Fair. But
so I've seen a leak today, and we have no way of verifying it, so I'm not putting it in the news. I'll throw it in here. That apparently this Galactus doesn't want to eat the world. He has detected Franklin Richards, who is incredibly dummy powerful, and he wants Franklin to fix his old universe so that he can go back to it.
Interesting.
Which would be very interesting.
We also, people have obviously pointed out the chalkboard that Reed's working on. I was so waiting for that to be the way they showed his stretchy powers because of how big it is.
That is a Marvel editing thing where they hide something.
His arms long and writing over there.
Absolutely.
But
just like in the fucking No Way Home trailer where Scorpion gets kicked in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Scorpion, lizard.
People obviously noticed he's working on a multiverse bridge. Which then has got people questioning, okay, where he's going to be able to go to multiverses. I don't think they do this. But it could it also could be a thing that Marvel would do. Going off Spider-Man, we got all versions of Spider-Man. We got our three boys all together in a film.
Yeah.
We've had Kangs and the Council of Kangs. There is the Council of Reed. Do you think they, off the success of how Spider-Man was taken by fans of having old actors reprise roles, do you think with this multiverse bridge we have all the Fantastic Four Reed Richards that we know, including the one from Doctor Strange, all show up together at one point in this film? Or I really
hope they don't.
I hope they don't, but we've seen Marvel do this a couple of times now. And I'm like, I really hope they don't lean on that. But
yeah, I don't know. I hope they don't. But it could work if they do it right. I really like the idea, despite this being Galactus in the film, and clearly being quite a fantastical universe. I like the idea of being quite grounded in a smallish story of them trying to help Galactus get back to his universe. Then they can't do it, and Galactus eats their planet, and they manage to escape, and that causes the incursion of Doomsday Secret War.
We know there's going to be a lot of Interstellar vibes, which I got off of you. Well, I don't know if you would have, because you've obviously not seen the film, but you knew the cornfield was Interstellar. So
I'm a connoisseur of film. It doesn't mean I have to
clip,
see the film to get it.
the clips showing the rocket go like launch with the like 3 engine spires that looks such a sick design.
Yeah.
That them suiting up before their first trip into space, like those clips gave me Interstellar vibes, which I'm like, okay, I wonder if like obviously they're going to use that as like flashback stuff to, because we know we're not getting it as an origin. We know this, like we've obviously with the fit, like they've been up once. Maybe the way they're wording it sounds like they're setting up to go up again.
Yeah.
So they're obviously going to use those flashback things. I wonder if that stuff and how they show what happened to them will be where the interstellar vibes come in, which I'm all for.
I'm very curious to see it. My big thing is, and like, I don't like rush to the end of the film. I'm going to savor this film. My big thing is we know it's a different universe. Is it the universe that we saw at the end of the Marvels, where the X-Men exist? Is it a different universe? And if that's the case, how does this film end? Because we know they're not getting another film before Secret War, but they're going to be a part of Secret War. So this film kind of has to end with them leaving their universe or something happening.
So my prediction is this is the world with RDJ as Doom, and Doomsday is going to be them still in this world. Like this is going to end with some reveal of RDJ as Doom or something, or Doom's in this world, and the Doomsday Avengers Doomsday is going to partly be them in this universe, and whatever happens in that then is them leaving this universe.
Maybe.
Whether it's the X-Men one, mate, I don't know.
These are the questions we've got.
But like, the difficult thing is we've seen such a small little like lab of the X-Men world. That's always so we have no context if it is this like retro futurism world that was in, or if it was, because you could have a situation where it's 3 different worlds and then the whole Secret War shit really like crashes multiple together.
And also it makes it a lot easier, like segregating out the different IPs to bring them back together after an incursion, because then you have to build the relationships now.
Yeah,
instead of like assuming that relationships existed.
Yeah, merging 3 worlds also then allows them to go, well, gives them more freedom to what, yeah, that happened in this world. Like, you don't know these things have happened.
Exactly.
They're just here now.
I'm curious to see how it goes. I don't know. All I know is July. Yes, July they come out. July with Superman and Fantastic Four might be the most back we've ever been.
I mean, yeah.
You know what? You know my opinion on like delays and stuff. If you have to delay, you have to delay. I am praying that these films do not need to delay.
I don't think.
And if one of them needs to delay, I hope the other one agrees to delay so they still come out in the same month.
the problem is, we know Superman won't delay. Like, it's had so much time. Fantastic Four, Marvel won't delay it. Like, they will, unfortunately, Marvel will work those artists to the bone over delaying, and I hope that isn't the case. I hope those artists don't end up in a situation where they are being severely overworked because they don't want to move a release date. But that is, unfortunately, we know Disney well enough that is more the case than it moving.
But the other discourse online, of course, has been like, oh, imagine wanting to watch Superman when this exists, or oh my god, they thought this was going to be me close to Superman. I try not to feel superior to people. Sometimes I do it accidentally. I try not to feel like I'm better than anyone. I am better than you for believing that I can enjoy both these films, and you only want to watch one of them. Like, that makes me superior to you.
I get.
Imagine not being excited for both of these.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like, I get as a comic book fan, you might have a preference of like, you enjoy reading DC comics over Marvel. That's fine. But I refuse to believe that comic book fans hate Marvel. If you're a DC, or if you're a Marvel fan, that you could hate DC comics to that point where like anything, like, how are you a comic fan and not excited about both films and being like,
These
oh,
are
DC's better, like Superman's going to be better than Fantastic Four. Like, bro, we're about to get two incredible looking, much more comic accurate, like probably the most comic accurate superhero films we've had ever or in a
potentially
while.
ever, yeah. Potentially
Like,
ever, yeah.
We're about to potentially have the start of the greatest era of superhero content.
You know the phrase, have your cake and eat it too?
Yeah.
This is like the situation where maybe that's possible.
Yeah. It really is.
I see no downside here. Either they're both great, and you go, oh boy, what a great summer. One of them's great, and you go, at least you had a great film. And if neither of them are great, you go, fuck, that sucked. But there is no world in which, like, this isn't a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
We have never had two films from competing, or from DC and Marvel coming out at the same time that have me this convinced we're getting two bangers.
And also, like, this is like the first time ever that we've had their two main like character IPs at the same time.
Like, these are the grandfathers of superhero comics. The first family of Marvel and Superman.
Yeah.
It just feels so right. They're both happening in a universe we've not really seen, which means it's fresh. Like, how could you not? I try not to say, oh, you're not a comic book fan. Because, yeah, you might not like comics, but maybe you like the cartoons or the films or whatever. If you're not excited for at least one of these, you are not a comic book. There is no way you can claim to love superheroes and comic book media if there isn't one of these, at least, that has you going, oh, boy! Like, what's not to love?
No,
And
I
even if for some
agree.
reason you're not a comic book fan, there's a new Jurassic World film coming out that looks fucking lit in July as well.
I mean, it's the same thing we've shown several times, but yeah, it does look cool.
Can you not be a little bit excited for Jurassic World? Big dinosaurs and shit, man. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? End of the day, I couldn't be more excited for this. Like, it looks so good. There's no reason to not be excited. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Like, what else can you do other than wait and see with bated breath and hope? It's brilliant.
I mean, yeah, we've only got 5 months to go.
Yeah.
6.
5. I don't know. One of them numbers things. Right. Nerd News Network time.
Yes.
Last week we made a mistake. We made an error. We repeated an article in which Benedict Cumberbatch was quoted as saying he wouldn't be in Doomsday.
We did what all news outlets do nowadays.
We took that at its face value. We believed the quote. We read the article. All we can do is apologise for lying to you.
Do you know what? I don't think we do need to apologise. I think Benedict should apologise to us. I feel lied to and cheated.
So Benedict did an interview that came out like literally 30 minutes after we finished filming, in which he said, "Oh, I fucked up. I got that wrong. I actually am in the next one. But now I've said both, so you can't believe me. I never know what I'm saying." So it is now our understanding that he is in Doomsday. But as he said, you can never trust anything I say, so maybe he is still not in Doomsday. We don't know.
Do you know what I think he's done? He's speedrun what Andrew Garfield had to go through, where he said, I'm not in it, then obviously was, so now no one will believe him, whatever he says about Spider-Man, because they're going to go,
you think he's just trying to recreate that so people don't bother asking him?
He's just speedrun by saying both now, so then he goes, you're not going to believe me, whichever I say. Oh well, you can stop asking that question.
Yeah. And also, despite the rumours that Chris Evans was coming back, he has claimed that he is happily retired. To which a number of people on the internet did hasten to point out that he was literally in a Marvel film
Yeah.
not even 12 months ago.
I was like, I did think that. I was like, hang on, you kind of contradicted yourself there. This also feels like a ploy to just confuse people, and then whatever you say, no one's going to believe.
At this point, right, every character could or could not feasibly appear in a Marvel project. It's pointless asking them because if they're not officially announced as being in it, there is still a chance they're going to be in it for a surprise twist.
Yeah,
it's actually pointless asking people. I know they're always going to want to do it because it will always generate a headline. That headline will always get posted, and then I will always send that tweet to you, and we will always end up talking about it. I get it. We'll fall for it every time. But it is a pointless question.
It's a pointless question, and it's honestly, I think more so than them just trying to get a headline, they're trying to get the next Tom Holland slip up.
Yeah,
that's all they're.
Tom Holland's not too good for that shit now.
They're just hunting for the slip up, and I think the way the actors are combating this is by saying contradicting things. So if they slip up, they'll go, "Yeah, but I also said this. So do you really believe me?"
Yeah, it's like if we say every
they're big braining the system.
They've realised how to do PR in a way that's unfathomable. Deadline has said that there is not going to be a Super Bowl trailer for Superman, and instead they will be getting a Puppy Bowl spot.
I forget when isn't the Puppy Bowl like the day?
I have no idea.
Before or something.
But everyone's now assuming that this trailer is going to be heavily focused on crypto.
Oh yeah, I think that's which unfortunately ruins my prediction of like a true like American beer style advert for Superman.
So it's on the same day as the Super Bowl, but it's much earlier in the day.
Oh, so I mean it'll still be shown around. Everyone will still see it.
Oh yeah, we'll still get it on Super Bowl Sunday, but it'll be much earlier. It's just funny.
I would love if it's like a crypto, like flying to the fridge and grabbing a beer for Superman, or going to get the paper from the front door and he flies it inside.
I'm at a weird spot where I don't want to see anything more, but I want to see everything. I don't want any footage that might allow my brain to start to piece together any semblance of a story.
I get what you mean.
However, I would like 12 hours of B-roll of each character.
This is why I want this like totally purely marketing like parody stuff, but them as their characters.
Yeah. I want like day in a life vlogs of them in character. Nothing to do with the film. Just to get a vibe.
The animated film that was Pets, where it was like when the owners leave the house.
Pets.
Yes. What if they do like a
parody? The first one made me cry.
What if they do a parody of that, but it's crypto and it's like Superman leaves, and
they did that. It's called the DC League of Super Pets.
Well, yeah, but
Johnson ruined it.
But what if they do that for the trailer?
It'd be cool. But yeah, so no Super Bowl trailer for
Superman.
We're expecting a Thunderbolts one, and there's expected to be a spot for Fantastic Four, but that is expected to just be the same teaser trailer played again. Maybe an extended one, but it's expected to just be the same teaser. Wake Up, Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery is officially set to release this fall on Netflix. Looks like they lost their fight and will not be getting a theatrical release. However, let the record show, if it does get a theatrical release, I will be there day one. It's got a really good cast. I forget the cast off the top of my head. Lots of A-listers who've been involved in other big projects coming together to play Cluedo on screen. It's great. I fucking love the Knives Out films. I'll probably, in preparation for this one, rewatch the last two. It's great. Big drama. I don't know why I've said it like that because it's not fun drama. It's just
I was
sad.
gonna say, God, you sounded excited for drama for
Yeah,
once.
I got a bit too YouTubery there, didn't I? Best Actress nominee Carla Sofia Gascon is
Mhm.
facing controversy for resurfaced tweets containing extremely racist, Islamophobic, homophobic, and anti-vaxxer comments. I've not seen the tweets, and I believe they're in Spanish anyway, so I would have only seen
Translations.
translations, which can never really be trusted because anyone can
Mhm.
translate it. People who are Spanish have seen the tweets and they've gone, "That's fucking disgusting. I can't believe she said that." It's not up for debate whether she actually said horrible things. The big thing with stuff like this is always for me how long ago it was, and has there been any evidence they've changed as a person since?
And have they ever in the past acknowledged that things they may have they already known they've said these things in the past and acknowledged it and made an effort to show that they have, and then this is just getting dragged up again? It's like, okay.
Based on some of the screenshots I briefly saw, some of them were as recent as 2022.
Oh. I find it hard to believe.
Do people change that much where they're openly in 2022 being racist, homophobic, Islamophobic in public 3 years later, when arguably people have become more accepting of racism, homophobia, and Islamophobia, changed their views? Odds are no.
Yeah, you're 2 years ago. You were probably you were obviously a celebrity already 2 years ago. You know better. You can't play this off as like, oh, I just said the wrong thing. No, like,
Oh yeah, and by the sounds of it, wasn't like what, you know, sometimes in the past people have used a racial slur and they've been like, "Oh, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry." Especially in foreign languages, because sometimes translations can get confused. My understanding is these were not like, "Oopsie." They were very much like
intent,
hate speech.
Yeah. Actual intent behind it. Yeah.
It sucks. I wish people could be kind to one another. I wish there wasn't so much hatred.
Yeah.
I think she should lose her Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
I don't think we should allow people to even have an opportunity to win an award while being bad people. Just like I think if a sports star gets convicted of a violent or horrific crime, aka too many NFL players and football players and every other fucking sport, I don't think they should then be able to go back and earn more millions of dollars. I think earning all that money and fame should be a reward for being talented and being a good role model.
Yeah.
And that is not being a good role model. Better news. Another superstar, at least I consider him a superstar, has joined the cast of Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, the one and only Elliot Page.
Oh, I've just Googled it to remind myself. Yeah. I know that is.
I believe this is his first major role since he transitioned.
Fair.
And in all fairness, not that this should be due any credit, but unfortunately we live in a world when it is. In 2025, in a world that is increasingly, by the day, it seems becoming more transphobic.
Yeah.
Fair fucks to Christopher Nolan for going, "I don't give a fuck, I'm casting Elliot Page."
Yeah.
I respect the fuck out of that. And I hope that they have the support structure in place for the additional abuse Elliot Page is probably going to have to endure.
Fair play to him as well for his first major films after to be
as far as I know, it is.
Well, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you don't really get more major than a Chris Nolan film. So,
no.
But as far as I know, this is their most major role post-transition. So that's huge for him.
Yeah.
I've seen some people talking about a particular Greek character that they might be perfect for. I don't know if that is the plan. I don't know too much about that character.
Who knows who all these actors and actresses are going to be playing? Like,
Sorry, I've just realised I didn't write it down. Matt Bateman's also first, actually acknowledged the fact he's in the film now.
Oh, okay.
And his comment was, "I've literally got another scene in front of me."
Nice.
That's it. This is one of them films that I've just seen this cast get bigger. I know enough about it to know what it is, but not enough about it to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is exciting. It feels like art's being made. I can't wait. It's going to be great. Dan Houser, founder of Rockstar and writer producer of the GTA series, he left Rockstar during the end of GTA 6 being made. He's not with Rockstar anymore, as far as I know. But he's revealed his new IP that he's been working on, called the Absurdverse, which has apparently got multiple animated projects, as well as an action comedy game in development.
Interesting.
Normally, someone leaving a studio and just revealing a new IP, I wouldn't deem newsworthy. However, Dan Houser has been at Rockstar since the beginning. He's been involved heavily in all of the GTA games, which are, in video game and storytelling, some of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
Do we know if he's the secret source or anyone else? No, not really. But on the off chance he is the secret source, this is something worth keeping a close eye on, I think.
I mean, yeah, he's obviously here's an ingredient in the recipe of GTA.
He has to be, because he was there from the beginning. There's got to be a decent amount of him involved.
And my thing is GTA 6 is going to be the biggest release of the year if it comes out this year. I hope it does for my fantasy league.
I genuinely don't think it's going to be not just the biggest release of this year. I think it could be the biggest release of the millennium. I know that sounds crazy because we're only 25 years into 1,000 years, but I can't imagine anything actually being this big, because I think video games are at that precipice where you're already so segmented.
I mean,
for a long time, video games was a niche.
In
but
the
now
millennium,
you've got sub niches.
There's plenty of time for them to get GTA 7 out.
They might just squeeze it in.
But for him to leave that, and I'm sure, as you say, left towards the end, so it's probably his heavy lifting work will have already been done by that point. But for him to feel the want to leave to work on his own IP gives me some confidence that if he is that passionate that this is something he felt he needed to go do, it's probably going to have some decent weight behind it.
It's just one of them things that it's it'd be silly not to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
It's absolutely got to just every once in a while, every 6 months, just Google Absurdverse and just go, how are we getting on over there? Any updates? I guess we'll find out if it's him who slows shit down or not. Zolo Maraduna, sorry if I've butchered that pronunciation, the actor who played Blue Beetle, says that the Blue Beetle animated series is targeting a 2026 release, which is very exciting. I mean, we both loved Blue Beetle. I know we were both very defensive when it didn't do the numbers we felt it deserved. So it's nice. In an animated format, that could be phenomenal.
I'll be interested to know if it's the same animation studio they use that did Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos. If it's either going to be that, or it's going to be a case of we're hoping with the directors having their own vision, it might be a case of each project gets an art style that suits it. Yeah. But could very, very be cool. Bearing in mind that to a lot of people, the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle is kind of seen to be, parody's not the right word, but symbolically similar to Spider-Man. And it's a young teenager trying to do his best for his community. I wouldn't be against Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man style animation for him. Up the frame rate a little bit, just so that them transitions of his scarab can be a bit more fluid. But there could be something there. And then I didn't get the facts to back up our conversation about this off stream. But Disney Plus has lost 700,000 subscribers in Q1 2025.
So I did quickly Google it. I couldn't.
Awesome.
So this is the confusing thing, right? Disney's Q1 is the last 3 months of the previous year.
Yeah.
So this is talking about the last 3 months of 2024, technically.
Yeah.
Trying to find out that for
So
the last 3
what was
months of
Q1
2024. Yeah, like it was either that year or the year before they lost 1.3 million.
Oh, I do remember talking about that, Nate. Was that over a year though, or was that in a single quarter?
No, that was like in 3 months, and then the first 3 months of the next, or like the next 3 months, they lost another chunk, and it was like, damn, they're just bleeding viewers. So I think this is technically better for them because they usually do lose
And just to
subscribers.
put in a bit of context as well, in Q2 of 2024, they had 153.6 million. So it's like less than 1%.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like, I think it sounds like a big number, but
It is a big number.
But in terms of their loss in previous years, this is actually down, which to them is a good thing. And then in the grand scheme of their subscription numbers, it's only a small drop.
I would imagine, just based on like being a poor person and knowing how money works, that the end of every calendar year, subscription services probably expect to lose subscribers, because if you're trying to save money for Christmas, what's the first thing to go? Subscription services you don't need.
Yep. Everyone starts the fresh year as well and goes over their finances, gets rid of stuff they haven't used.
So they probably forecast for like 2 million. They're probably not worried about that number. I imagine that's the quarter where if it's like zero change, they're probably like, fuck yeah, we smashed it.
I am one of those 700 because it was around then that I cancelled my Disney Plus.
But like, yeah, in the grand scheme of how many subscribers they have, it's not a big deal. Yeah. However, if them 700,000 people would like to pay a 1 month Disney Plus subscription to me, that'd be a life-changing bit of business for me.
If those 700,
what is it per month? What is it per month?
Not even pay us. If those 700,000 subscribers just want to start watching this podcast,
yeah, honestly,
that's
generational.
Better,
yeah, generational. 700,000 weekly viewers of the podcast. We would be doing just fine very quickly.
I think we would find ourselves on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And exclusively talking about Marvel and Star Wars.
But yeah, that was an interesting one. But that is it for this week. Next week we're gonna have next week. We're gonna start with Invincible.
Yes.
We're gonna have
more Spider-Man.
More Spider-Man. We're gonna have loads and loads of good stuff.
Captain
Make
America?
sure you're subscribed. No, Captain America comes out next Friday. We won't make it in time for recording next Wednesday. But we will have a preview for something else, I believe. I can't remember what. Might be time for Reacher.
Possibly.
But make sure you get liked, make sure you get subscribed, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.